Why is this so hard? Why do I keep Herkese merhaba. Hey everybody, my name is Keith Brooks and I'm a traveler, blogger, and writer living in Istanbul, Turkey. I've been living here for about a year and a half and I'm sharing all of my adventures on my Instagram page. You can follow everything from the hashtag #SoThisIsTurkey and follow my real life adventures traveling around the world. If you're watching this video and you just want to see the results and have questions, please skip to the end. You don't have to watch the entire thing. So I wanted to talk about two surgeries I had while I've been living in Turkey. I had an abdominoplasty and a gynecomastia surgery. The abdominoplasty surgery was a full abdominoplasty procedure where I had excess skin removed from around my tummy, hence the name tummy tuck, and also around my back. And then I also had a gynecomastia surgery, which removed excess skin and fat from my chest. I had the abdominoplasty surgery in December of 2020, and then I had the gynecomastia surgery in February of 2021. So the backstory behind why I got both of these surgeries. In 2011, I lost a lot of weight, and I lost it pretty quickly. I was close to about 200 pounds. In kilograms, that's around just under, I guess, like 99, 100 kilograms. And my weight always fluctuated as a kid and as an adult. I was the skinny, fat kid. I always had like a slim looking physique whenever I wore clothes, but I always had excess skin or fat. And my weight fluctuated as a teen, even in college. And I didn't always have the best eating habits. But in 2011, after I went to South Korea and Japan, I saw myself in photos and I was like, that's not me. That can't be me. I didn't recognize my face. I just looked really, really ungodly, like not like myself. And I just decided from then I was going to lose the weight. So I lost the weight pretty quickly. I did calorie counting and I started running, and much later I started going to the gym. And I lost about 40 pounds in about three or 4 months, and it was pretty quickly. And I devoted my life to eating healthy, to working out. It was a fitness and lifestyle revolution, really. It wasn't just about weight loss. But the thing that was left over after I started going to the gym and really working out and really just devoting my life to fitness was excess skin. And I didn't have a lot, but I had a noticeable amount of excess skin near my tummy, sort of in my back, and also just around my chest. It didn't matter how long I went to the gym, how long I worked out for, how much muscle I built, how much weight I lost. I could never get rid of the excess skin. And I tried a lot of really, really intense methods to do it. At one point, I remember just dieting and losing so much weight that I got down to a really skeletal size, which was completely unhealthy. And I still had the skin, but I was aiming to get this perfect body that I never could do on my own without removing the excess skin. Initially, I tried doing Coolsculpting, which is a procedure where you essentially have fat cells frozen through modern technology, and the fat disappears over a series of 2 or 3 months. I tried doing that, and I think I lost some fat that was targeted in my abdomen area, but it still didn't give me the results I really wanted. So when I was living in Turkey for I think it was maybe around month 4, I talked to a friend who works in the cosmetic surgery industry. He's a really good friend of mine. His Instagram and his contact information is below. I reached out to Ben and I told him, hey, I think I'm going to try to get maybe liposuction. Could you tell me what my options are? I mainly wanted it for my back. I didn't even consider getting it for my abdomen at the time. I went with Ben to speak to a doctor, and the doctor recommended that liposuction would only be effective if I had excess fat. And since I had worked out so hard, since I had devoted my life to having a healthy lifestyle, I really didn't have a lot of fat. And the doctor recommended that the best procedure would be an abdominoplasty. And not just an abdominoplasty for the stomach, but an abdominoplasty for the entire circumference of my waist. So he would be removing the skin from my abdomen and also from the back for the most ideal silhouetted and balanced appearance. So I thought about it and I was like, that's a little extreme. And, I just took some time to kind of marinate on it. And then I still kept thinking about it. I still kept asking myself, and then later to Ben, I still want to see if this is an option, if I should still try to go for liposuction or if I should try to go for the actual abdominoplasty. So I spoke with the same doctor again, and then I actually spoke with another plastic surgeon who happened to be the surgeon that did my abdominoplasty and gynecomastia surgery. Both of them unequivocally recommended that the abdominoplasty was the best procedure for me to get the body I always wanted. It was the best procedure to remove excess skin because that was the ultimate problem. And I remember when I went to Coolsculpting, like the doctor I spoke with, Dr. Michelle Henry actually, she recommended that Coolsculpting might not be the best method to actually flatten out my abdomen because, again, it depends on the skin laxity and excess skin. And in my case, I just had excess skin. I didn't have any fat. So liposuction really wasn't the best option. I actually decided to get, I can't believe, it's actually just surreal that thinking about this now, but I actually decided to get the procedure the same day. The same day I walked in and spoke with both of the surgeons, I decided that day to get the procedure. I had no idea how intense of a surgery would be, and I had never had surgery before in my life. But I decided that this was the best option, and I really trusted the experience and professionalism of the doctors, and I thought to myself, what do I have to lose? This is what I always wanted. And if I don't do this now, then I'm going to keep wondering about what will happen to my body. The thing that I kept repeating in my mind was the excess skin will never go away if I don't do this surgery. It doesn't matter how many times I go to the gym, how hard I work out, how much muscle I build, what I eat. This is something that I can't do on my own. That stood in my head for a while. When I woke up, I had a black compression garment that was all around my abdomen, and I had 2 drains that were hooked inside my abdomen, and there were some drains in the back as well. I had to stay in the hospital overnight, and then I stayed one more day. The doctor, Dr. Ibrahim, he came to check in on me to see how I was doing the next morning, and he just said that I was good to go, and he gave me some prescriptions that I would need just to help with the pain that I would be dealing with the upcoming days. I would say the next 2 to 3 days to probably the beginning of the 3rd week were really, really brutal. It was difficult because I still had the drains in the first week. I could not shower the first 5 days, and even then I had to be very careful around the area where I had the surgery. There was still a lot of bandaging there, and I just couldn't move. I couldn't really move out of bed because it was so painful. I could barely walk. I had a hunch when I was walking. I almost thought that I would need a walker or a stick. And I had to carry the drains every time and also empty them every time they became full. It was just so gross. It got so emotionally draining for me, and it was just painful that in the second week, I remember just breaking down and crying because I was thinking to myself, how could I do this surgery on my own? And my mom's not here, my family's not here, and blah, blah, blah. I just went through it. I went through all of the emotions. And even now, it just makes me get emotional thinking about the surgery and doing it on my own. Like, I still can't believe I did something like this and I was in another country. It's just surreal to think about, honestly. I would say that I had pain for sure, just abdominal pain, back pain, and just movement issues. Just literally couldn't even get out of bed for about the first 2 weeks. I was also just being mindful of my diet at the time. I could only really eat soup and not really a lot of heavy food. So that was also just another thing I didn't really expect. So along with the bandaging that was underneath the compression garment, I also had a very, very large surgical scar in the back where Dr. Ibrahim essentially removed the excess skin, but he needed to bring the skin that was left over together and mend it. And this part of the back had less skin as opposed to the front. So there was just constant bleeding for a good 2 months. And essentially I had to keep the area bandaged, and I would have to go back to the clinic for them to change the bandages. And there was one point where the bleeding got so bad, I had to go to the emergency room because I just couldn't stop it from bleeding. And the scar took a long time to heal. It took maybe 3 months for it to close, and then it took even longer for it just to completely seal. I was under anesthesia for about 5 to 6 hours, maybe a little bit shorter than that. I don't remember anything from the procedure. The only thing I remember was when I was in the laboratory room, them talking to me in Turkish and English, the surgical staff just kind of preparing me for everything, and being wheeled to the surgical room. For the abdominoplasty surgery, my surgeon, Dr. Ibrahim, removed 1.8 kilograms or about 4 pounds of skin and fat, and then also 1,500 cc's of lipoaspirate, which is just kind of a mix of fluid in the skin, fat, and all of that was gone from the surgery. As far as the aftermath of the procedure, I would say I started to feel a lot better after the second month, and then I wore the compression garment for about 3 months. I had to keep using scar cream for the scar just completely around the surgical area after I stopped, during wearing the compression garment and also after. There was actually still a lot of swelling. The swelling was one of the parts that I just didn't know about from the abdominoplasty surgery. Pretty much anytime you get a major surgical procedure done, you're always going to have a lot of swelling because basically your body is repairing itself and it's just rushing fluid, white blood cells to the area to repair it. And the swelling took a long time to really just go down. I would say I didn't really notice the swelling fully disappear, and I would say fully, as in 90% of it, go away until maybe the 6th month, so in the summer. that's when I started noticing my body really flattening out and a much more slimmer appearance and what to expect from as far as the results of the procedure. So the scar will always be there. I just want to say that from the start. But the visibility of it was actually not as bad for me. I think maybe because of my skin complexion, and I'm also not prone to getting keloids. But around the same time the swelling went down, which was probably close to 5 or 6 months, that's when the visibility of the scar really just started to diminish. And because these are major surgeries, time is really the best medicine for scarring to diminish. This applied to the front part where the abdominal skin was removed, and also in the back where there was a wound, as mentioned before, that needed time to heal. So actually around the 3-month mark after I had the abdominoplasty, I felt pretty much back to my old self, even though I had swelling. And during one of my checkups, Dr. Ibrahim recommended that I get the gynecomastia surgery because I still had excess skin and fat from weight loss and also just my body type in general. And I thought to myself, yeah, let's do that too. The gynecomastia surgery was way easier than the abdominoplasty surgery by miles. I can't even tell you how simple of a procedure it was. Essentially, what happened was the day of the surgery, Dr. Ibrahim performed an operation on my chest where he used liposuction to remove the excess fat, and then he cut away the excess skin around the nipple area. Dr. Ibrahim removed about 500 cc of lipoaspirate, which again is like blood, excess fat, and just leftover liquid. And he sewed off the nipples completely, and then again removed the excess skin, and then sewed back on the nipples. And I woke up the same day. I had very little pain, to be honest with you. I had another compression garment. I had no bleeding and no drains, which made me super happy. And I only had to wear the compression garment for about like a month. So the recovery for that surgery was actually really easy. I did lose sensitivity in my nipples for I think about 3 months. The sensitivity came back completely. So I know you all are really curious about the before and after pics. So I'm just gonna share with you the photos before the abdominoplasty surgery, what I looked like, and then the after photos after both surgeries.
Evet, Kate'e göğüslerindeki deri fazlalığı ve karın bölgesindeki deri fazlalığı nedeniyle germe ameliyatlar yaptık. Bu ameliyatları kilo veren hastalarda sıklıkla yapmaktayız. Kate de büyük miktarda kilo verdiği için hem karın bölgesinde hem göğüs bölgesinde sarkmalar olmuştu. Göğüs bölgesindeki sarkmaları fazla deriyi ve fazla yağları uzaklaştırarak düzelttik. Sadece göğüs çevresinde, göğüs hücre çevresinde bir iz kaldı. Karın bölgesinde çepeçevre 360 derece karın germe dediğimiz bir işlem yaptık. Oradaki hem fazla deri, fazla yağları attık. Karın kaslarını sıkılaştırdık. Böylece o fazla derisinden kurtarmış olduk. Daha şekilli, daha diri bir görüntüye kavuşmuş olduk.
So I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have about the abdominoplasty surgery or the gynecomastia surgery, but here's my responses to some really common questions that come in. As far as regrets or things I wish I had known before I did these surgeries, first of all, I wish I had done them way sooner than now. I would have done them 10 years ago if I could have. If I had known then what I know now, I definitely would have done them way, way sooner. I have absolutely no regrets about doing this surgery. I am so incredibly thankful to Dr. Ibrahim, the staff at Estethica, my friend Ben, and everybody who supported me during these surgeries. I've never been so happier in my life with my body, and I'm just so incredibly thankful. So thank you all so much. Again, no regrets. I wish I had done them sooner. One thing I will say for the abdominoplasty surgery that I wish I had had is just someone to help me the first week, because literally you can't move. It is very painful to even do the most basic things like get out of bed, to go to the restroom, to go to the kitchen and make your own meals or even get water. So I would recommend having someone who's available to help you at least the first 3 days, but maybe just the first week, because it's really, that surgery takes a lot out of you and it's just going to be difficult to get back on your feet. And again, you're in pain. You'll have a lot of emotions. I, again, broke down and was just feeling in my feelings the week after the abdominoplasty procedure. So if you can find someone to support you, definitely do it. Another thing I'll say is that since Turkey is a very common place for cosmetic procedures, a lot of people from different countries come to have things done, and then they leave after sometimes maybe a day or two after they have the procedures. And I really don't recommend that, because anything can happen after you get work done. There might be an emergency, there might be something like blood clotting or unexpected pain, or the stitching can come out. So if you are coming from another country and you're getting cosmetic procedures here, I definitely recommend staying for at least 2 weeks. If you can stay longer, depending on the procedure, definitely do it. But for an abdominoplasty, I would say for sure stay in the respective country you're getting the surgery in for 2 weeks, because anything can happen and you just really want to be near your surgeon or a medical staff who is aware of your body, who knows exactly what they did during the procedure, and can be the quickest and most efficient help. The abdominoplasty, again, full abdominoplasty, cost around $3,000. This was in December 2020. And then the gynecomastia surgery was around just under $2,000. And this was in February 2020. So this is a common question I've received. And for years, I listened to that voice. I listened to what people had said about my body, opinions about my body. Oh, you don't really need the surgery, or you look fine, and everybody has imperfections, or why would you go through something so extreme? And I kept listening to that over and over. And what I also realized is that it's great to have affirmations for your own body. It's important to love your body. It's important to accept imperfections and to be fully at peace with the way that you look like. But my own voice and my own agency was actually being lost within those affirmations. I didn't want to have excess skin. Another reason I'm just really happy I got these surgeries is because it was the best reminder to really listen to yourself, to listen to your body, and to find your own agency and what you want for your well-being. And for me, my goal was to have an athletic, fit body. I worked my ass off for years, running, going to the gym, doing everything possible, not to have an ideal body, but to have a body that worked for me. And removing excess skin was never part of my goal. I never wanted to have loose skin when I was working out or looking in the mirror. And that's okay. That's normal. That's an okay feeling to have. It's equally as valid as someone who is overweight and they're reclaiming their identity as a fat person. That's equally as valid. And again, it wasn't just other people telling me, oh, you look fine. I didn't feel that I looked fine for myself. So it was really an exercise of reclaiming how I wanted my body to be. And again, I could have never lost excess skin on my own. The procedures are very, very professional. They're very common. And in my opinion, I mean, how is it different from getting cosmetic work done for your teeth or getting a hair transplant? I mean, I don't really see the difference. I think that if you are fully aware of your body, you love your body, but you want to adorn it or you want to modify it, that's equally as valid. That's okay. It's not really about what other people think. It's about what you want for yourself. And I know that for me, this is what I deeply wanted for myself. Even after years of just avoiding it or kind of suffocating it due to what other people thought, it was really just a powerful way for me to really take ownership of my body. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it or leave a comment. You can also subscribe to follow my adventures here and on Instagram. Be sure to follow the hashtag #SoThisIsTurkey. Thanks!